Okay, guys, this is Yamo today. No Debo, because she's busy cooking for the family. As I'm a lucky guy, what can I say? And I've got baby Lana sleeping in a crib. You guys can't see her, but she's like behind the wall behind us. So anyway, I've got some big news to drop, and I'm going to tell you that there's more details happening later. And the big news is that we're moving. We're moving out of Vancouver, but I wanted to quickly do this video because I think there are a lot of families that are thinking about moving, and we all hear about these crazy horror stories about movers. So I'm going to use this as a venue to document how our moving is going and selecting. And right now that's where we're at. We're selecting various movers right now to see who can get us the best estimate, who we feel more comfortable with, what service they provide, and walk you through that. So, and of course, because I'm documenting it, I have it on record. Okay, so we reached out to 3 companies. The third one was supposed to come in today to do a quote, but they obviously couldn't make it, so we had to reschedule for next week, Monday. So I'll have a video on that. But we did do 2 today. The 2 companies were AMJ. There's this company called, here you go, AMJ Campbell, and I believe they're affiliated with a company called Atlas. And there's another one that we talked to today. And what was interesting about that company was that it's actually it was a virtual assessment. So instead of having someone come in here physically and look at all of our stuff, they just did it through our phones. And that company was called Allied Quality Move Management Inc. So in our preliminary screening, in terms of how we found a mover, which movers to even look for, when you Google it, there are so many companies come up, and when you do the Google review, there are they're all 1-star ratings. But then if you just rely on what Google spits out, there are some companies with 4 or 5-star ratings, and I think those are all fabricated reviews. They are going through the right channels, and those are pushing out blogs that are all fabricated and trying to make themselves look much better. But then when you do more digging into the reviews, or if you go to the Better Business Bureau, you're going to see a completely different scenario. And that's what I recommend that you guys do. Obviously important to do your homework, and that's what we're trying to do. Even then, I still think there's a lot of risk involved in moving, and a lot of potential for the trucks to break down, or your your goods being damaged just out of the moving process, and having a disgruntled employee or an employee who isn't properly trained. That's just my gut feeling. So I think there's still a risk, but you want to do your due diligence the best you can. So I've been doing some research, Dev's been doing some research, and we've asked for friends, their references, and they didn't really have anything great. And of course, they moved several years ago, which things have changed, management has changed so much, so it's really hard to rely on that solely. But one thing I did go digging further, I went to the Canadian Association of Movers, and there's a website there that have really good tips on what to ask movers, what to watch out for, what are some of the signs that it's potentially a scam moving company. And that's the problem. There's a lot of fly-by-night companies. There's only a few big parent companies, and some of them are bad companies too, and they just create new businesses, operate under a new name, so that the search results or the reviews don't pop up, where people aren't happy with them. So I went to the Canadian Association of Movers, and there is a directory of other companies that you can reach out to that are part of that association. And the idea there is that if they're part of that association, then they should be better suited, have better reputation. Some of them are BBB certified or a member of the Better Business Bureau. So we've narrowed the list based on that. And so we had 2 people come in today, like I said, one from AMJ, and this was a lovely lady. Actually came up to the apartment. We were obviously social distancing as well as having masks on, and showed her around. She took the time to walk us through the services, the insurance policy, answered all our questions, and walked us through like what they provide, how quality is important to them, the usual sales pitch, right? And then she did a walkthrough, and then she would have a checklist of stuff. And it's not like they were going through the things with meticulous detail. My understanding is that because they've done this, they know the business well, they can estimate the weights fairly accurately. And so she just had her checklist, and she would just mark her things and ask what we wanted to do or what we didn't want to do or take with us, what was cheaper, moving a car and all these things, just walking us through all those things. And what was funny is that she talked about the flat screen. I don't have the original box, so you're gonna have to get that packed. And she was quoting like $150 or $125 to have them pack it. And when you have that company pack it, then they'll insure it some more or something along those lines. So that was good. She was actually very friendly, answered all our questions. I thought her service level was really high, and she definitely provided that comfort level about the whole process. And I've heard horror stories, and that's the other thing. You can also Google moving companies, and there's gonna, as you go through a scam, Google the name plus the word scam or bad reviews, or like there's news stories that pop up and they show examples of what scams look like. So just arming yourself with knowledge I thought was helpful. So that was one company, and so she just took full inventory. We actually took her down to the storage locker so she could look at that as well, and she's going to get us a quote. We don't have the quote yet. It just happened today, so once I have that, there's going to be follow-up updates of this series of videos, I guess. And then the other person that came to do the assessment, like I said, was virtual. It was a virtual assessment. They send you a link through text message. You click on it, you download an app, and then it's pretty much like a Skype or a FaceTime session. And there they can look at your whole place. And it was the same thing. This person didn't really pitch us too much yet on everything that they could provide. It was more like, let's take a look at your place right away. Whereas the AMJ, they were more adamant about walking through all the details and then doing the assessment at the very end. This particular person was also very friendly. He seemed reputable. He seemed like he knew what he was talking about. He answered all my questions, and I would say that AMJ as well as the Allied Quality Move Management were fairly on par with this experience so far. It's just that it was virtual, and to me, I'd rather them do it in person. I just want them to see, like physically see and feel how heavy the content is. But like I said, it's not particularly meticulous. I don't think so far that the experience was that much difference, whether it's in person or virtual. Anyway, you go here, and it's just a matter of them, you just point the camera and they're going to talk you through, oh, how heavy is that? Do you want to pack that yourself, or do you want us to do it? And the other thing that came out of that was this monitor that is in front of me. This is my office setup, and this is a 34-inch curved screen, and I don't have the box. I don't think I have the original box anymore, because the box it's huge, which is going to make it for a challenge, because with a flat screen, there's cartons you can buy that will capture that, but with a curved screen, there's a lot more flex, and it's just an odd shape. And so we'll see. I obviously love this monitor, and to buy a new one would be quite expensive, so if I can bring it with me, I would. But yeah, that's the other thing. Now we got to think about, what do we really want to take with us? What do we want to sell? What do you want to give away for free? I've got tons of books. Deb's got we've got shelving. So we're looking at all these things together. And then to add more complexity, what we're going to requires quarantining, right? And so movers can't bring stuff into that house while you're still in quarantine. So now we have to figure out, okay, who can we bring to represent us, or do we just tough it out for 2 weeks without anything, or just the bare essentials, knowing we have a baby, and just tough it out and then wait the 2 weeks and then have them move. So we don't know yet. That needs to be figured out. We still need to know the timing and of course the costs. In terms of the costs, what I'm finding, it's about $1 per pound, roughly. And that's the other thing. There are these websites you can get a quote from a move, and then what I'll do is I'll push out your requirements to all the moving companies, and they'll all quote you, and they'll all underquote you, or make the assumption that you only have 500 pounds worth of stuff, which is like a bookshelf with books in it, and maybe like 2 of those. That's essentially what you're paying for. So whatever quote you're seeing is going to be incredibly unrealistic. So watch out for that. I think a lot of them, they like to do that to lure you in, and then now that you're in with them, they've got your stuff and gonna hold you hostage if you don't pay whatever fees they're asking for. So stuff like that. Yeah, right now we're still waiting. We're still waiting for the prices. So yes, we're still waiting for the prices, and we're also waiting on the dates. Right? We don't know when, what carriers are available for the dates that we're hoping for. So there's still a lot of stuff in the air, but I just thought I'd take a moment to just name drop the companies that we are working with, and at least give you some idea of what that experience is like. Should you guys, some of you out there are thinking about moving at least across Canada or within Canada. So there you go. I'm going to leave it there for now. Like I said, there's going to be more videos as I'm going to update you guys on more developments, issues, problems, hiccups, or maybe, hopefully, fingers crossed, it's a smooth process, but kind of highly doubt that. Anyway, and then for the rest of you guys who are avid followers of Yamo and Debo, the channel, and you're like, hey, we're here for Debo and the baby, there's going to be more stuff coming. It's just a matter of finding the time. It's easier for me to just click this camera on and yap away versus us trying to make sure we have the, each other's availability, and then of course with the baby, and there's just the regular day-to-day stuff that we're trying to do and scramble in between. So anyway, AMJ Campbell, the other one is Allied Quality Move Management. I've got one more on Monday coming at you. We had to reschedule. I didn't want to do a virtual one, another one, so I wanted this one to be in person. So we'll see how that goes. All right, talk to you later. Goodbye.